Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Got my guys Soul, Country, and Rich. Let's get it.
Live from all over the country. It's dapodcav. Coming at you right now.
Hey, yo. We back. Brand new episode of the podcast. Hey, fuck this music. I ain't even going to bullshit you. I've been waiting for this episode. For real. Shout out to my guy, Rich. Rich, what's going on, man?
Yo, shout out to y'all, man, first and foremost, for letting me jump on board. So,
Absolutely.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this one for sure.
Listen, before the podcast even started, I was like, bro, I'm getting you on a podcast. Every day, I'm not going to say every day, but every once in a while, I'll see him going back and forth with people online about conspiracy theories. And I'm like, yo, man, this guy's talking some real shit here. So I appreciate you coming on the show, man. So we're going to get right to it. Brand new episode of Cav Roulette. Me and Country went out. We asked people their thoughts on flat earth and round earth. Let's hear what they had to say.
What's up, OG? What y'all doing? Are we on the podcast?
You are on the podcast.
What's up, y'all? Morning, bro. We lit today, baby. How y'all feeling today? How y'all today, baby? Everybody wake up, get that money.
You believe in flat earth, or do you believe the earth is round?
It's round, bro. There's even pictures from space now that are coming out and it shows it's round.
I'd say it's flat, because if it was round, the water would fall out.
Bro, I've been on a plane, bro. I've literally seen the world go like this. Like, I've seen the world, like, have, like, a circle. Like, I've seen it.
Well, it's round like these hoes' ass, man. You see how thick these hoes is. It's round just like that ass.
Nigga, it's round. That ain't even some shit I got to believe in, nigga. It's round. How the hell are you going to explain the other goddamn planets that surround us and you going to say the goddamn Earth is flat? This shit don't work really out like argument. That, bro. This shit is round, bro. This shit ain't flat. What the fuck?
Do you think the Earth is flat or round?
Squared.
And I don't think it could be like super circle because like people would just fall off. So I just think it's like not an egg shape, but like an oval shape in a way. Like everything just stays on.
So how do you explain the sun being circled and the other planets being circled if the Earth isn't circled?
Ooh, dang, that was good. Hey, that was good. Man, I can't even explain it to you. You got me. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know, because if it was flat, like, why the fuck? Man, y'all not gonna have my head hurting and shit. I don't want to.
Earth is not flat, in my beliefs.
It's round.
Why is that a debate?
Why?
Flat.
Do you think it's flat? Seriously?
I just took a guess.
Oh.
Man, that motherfucker flat, round, upside down, up and around the world. Nigga, hey, everybody just wake up and get that money at the end of the day. We all gonna go to sleep dead. Wake up, get that money, nigga. Tell you.
All right, Rich, the floor is yours, man. Let them know what you think.
Man. Listen, first and foremost, that was funny. I like to hear all the responses from people, man. And again, shout out to y'all for letting me on. You know,
yes, sir.
I'm going to tell y'all a little bit how I got on. Oh, first, let me give my shout-outs, Butter. Shout out my whole crew. Jersey, Philly, New York, we here and everywhere. You know, we here to save the earth. Let's go. I'm going to tell y'all, so 6 years ago, I don't like nothing on TV. Like, I'm a guy, I don't watch TV. I watch sports. I watch the Eagles. So I'm not really a big TV guy, so I follow sports a lot. And at the time, I was following LeBron in Cleveland when they did the whole Golden State thing. And then Kyrie Irving had came out with this. So at the time, when I heard it from him, I was just like everybody else. Like, yo, it sounds crazy. Like, what does he mean by that? Like, why is he saying it? So for like 2 weeks straight, every night, when I was working this job, I was working in an office and I was closing it. So like every night, I just had this free time alone in this office. I'm just watching everything. I'm from videos to reading everything from anything I could get, books, whatever, people's opinions. And back then, YouTube was less censored. So it was a lot more information compared to what it is now. Like, you'd be surprised. It took a lot of the videos I've seen down since then. So that's right. Another part we'll get into. So for like 2 weeks, and I'm just like going back and forth. I'm calling my friends like, yo, you heard what Kyrie said? Like, why does he think that? Because like, I'm sure all of us, we're like, I'm over 30. So all our life, like we never really challenged this. So like when I first heard it, I'm just like everybody else. Like, you know, NASA got it figured out already. Like, what do you mean, a flat Earth? I never even heard flat Earth until Kyrie came with this. So, you know, I'm looking into it, and then it was this one video because I was still on the fence. But it was this one video I saw, and that's the video I sent you, Brian, with the time lapse. This is the one right here. Now, what this video is a time lapse from New York to Moscow. So a plane is flying from New York to Moscow, and it's showing you in the background the sun literally making a circuit, like right in front of our face. It's making a circuit, and then as they're going across the plane, they meet the sun on the other side. So when I seen this, and it's like, when we're at ground level, we don't see this. We don't see the sun like shrink in size and like move away. We just see it set and it still looks big. So, you know, we got this thought in our mind like, okay, that's the earth turning and the sun is still big. But when you're up at that height, you can actually see the sun gets smaller, it goes away in the distance, but you can still see the light in the distance. And then you see it come back as the plane is flying across the plane. And I'm like, yo, what? I seen that and I was just like, I was mind blown because I never think about it. We fly planes all the time. We're not looking outside the whole time. We're not like, and then we can't see nothing. None of us can really see. All we see is a flat, level world. We see clouds. So we don't even bother to look. Like, it's nothing you can really see. So when I see this, it's like now I'm like, every chance I get, I want to see it. It's like, I just looked at it completely different since then. And this was 6 years ago. And this is around the same time when Steph Curry had came out with the moon landing. Like, I don't know if y'all remember when Steph Curry said something about the moon landing. So I was like, everything was hitting me at once. And it was just it comes a point where like, stuff just don't add up. And it's like, it's almost to our intelligence, like us, like, it's almost borderline insulting. How, like, the stuff they show us, like, what? Because if you think about it, it's been years. I was 33. I'm 40 now. So at the time, I was 34. And, like, so if you think about it, for 34 years prior, I never challenged this. Like, we never got in a group and talked, yo, flat earth, round earth. So, a lot of us, all our life, that's all we know is NASA got it figured out. It's round. There's no other way. But then once you really look into it and you start breaking things down, and then you're like, well, that's impossible, or how does that work? Or that's how I feel like it started hitting me. But again, for 2 weeks, I was still on the fence. I'm like, I'm going hard. Like, yo, Kyrie's stupid, man. Ain't no flat earth. So I'm going against it. I'm already going with no open mind. Like, oh, he can't be right. Why did he say this? But I'm telling you, like, if you really start sitting and thinking about it, like, a lot of stuff just hits you, man. I'm telling you, I got notes, everything, like the strongest, like gravity. Like when people talk about the edge, when people are like, all right, so why don't you fly off the edge? What edge? Like, none of us seen the edge. Like, when we're up there, it looks infinite. Like, it looks like it never ends. So, like, when people ask, like, why don't you fall off the edge?
Right.
We got to understand that they already have a system in place. It's called the Flat Earth Society, where they have it to where it's already meant to look foolish. So they're going to come and they got a model for it, like this little disc Earth. And it's like the sun. Like, so already you're putting in people's mind like, oh, that's impossible. But at the end of the day, it's still a drawing, just like they're showing us the real Earth. Like, they're just giving us a model. They're making like a damage control model. Like, all right, let's give them Flat Earth Society. Right. So I feel like that's a damage control model, because even that model is bullshit. Like, it's not real. How do we know? That's even a cartoon. So it's a lot of things, man, that comes with it that I feel like people should research. Like me, I'm not saying everything is 100% right. This is my theory, my observation. But I feel like when people really look into it and we really start looking into reality, like I feel like it starts hitting people, because at the end of the day, we all work. It don't matter. People got their jobs, kids. Like, we got we got stuff to do in life. So a lot of people aren't going about their day. It doesn't matter really. But I feel like it matters, because what we should get into is why. Like, why the lie? Why would it be? And that's what kept it interesting for me. Like, I feel like this should be fascinating to talk about. But online, you know, some people take this personal. Like, they'll fight with you over this. Like, oh, like, I'm not brainwashed. I'm not, like, oh, slow down. Like, listen, I'm just getting the information too. I was like you. I went to science class and I graduated all 12 years of high school. So I went the same programs. I had the same science, the same heliocentric model with all the suns and the moon and the stars, and But looking back at it now, I'm like, man, like they had me.
Right. It's the whole country. Y'all want to chime in?
So, Rich, one of the things I wanted to kind of ask you, it actually got addressed on Cav Roulette, and that was one of the notes I had in my phone. All the other planets and stars are round. So, how do we explain Earth being the one that everyone or theorists say is flat?
Okay, so I like to stay away from the religious aspect. Again, like I don't have a preference, and I do believe in God, a creator. Maybe even more creative. It could be multiple creators for all we know. But the thing I want to mention is some people reference to like the Bible where it was the earth, then the two lights in the skies, then the stars, but everything else was made after. So my thing is we're like the center of creation. Why? When people say, oh, the sun is a moon, the sun is a globe or a circle, or the moon is a sphere, planets. Okay, well, how does that make us? That doesn't matter. Like, it could be just us, and then that's everything that revolves around us. Yeah, that's a circle, because we can obviously see it with our own eyes. So I feel like when people say that concept of everything revolves around us, like, think about it. If you look up, if nobody told us, if we weren't taught none of this, we would look up at the sky and say, well, you know what? Everything does, like, revolve around us. Like, we see the sun, the stars. Like everything, the stars, all circles above us. Clearly, the sun and the moon is a circle, yes. So we see that with our own eyes, but none of us went up there and seen Earth. So how are we to say what the shape is? None of us know.
So you would say all the photos from the International Space Station would be fake.
All of it.
Okay.
PlayStation 5 when I see it. We all play PlayStation.
Right.
Listen, God bless. I visited my Oma right before she passed away. We was in the kitchen. They had the Mars mission on the news. Looking like a PlayStation 5 graphic material. That's not real. And then she was buying into it. I was just like, felt like, oh, God, my grandma. So, because think about what have they shown us besides like the ISS footage where they're like 100 and something thousand feet? But everything outside of that, we can't pull up no real tangible. It's all PlayStation. They even got pictures of the camera taking the pictures of the stuff. Like what?
Go ahead, Country. Country, go ahead, and then come back to me after that.
All right, so basically, do you think we live in a 3-dimensional world or a 2-dimensional world?
That's a good question. So what do you mean by 2D though?
Well, 2D would be basically like there's two sides. You know what I'm saying? So if like we're flat, what's on the other side? Because that would also mean that gravity didn't exist, and gravity pretty much pulls everything to the center of the earth.
So perfect. All right, so I'll go with 2D for now because 3D would need gravity?
Yes.
So because gravity is live. Right. Let's just put this out there right now, right? Y'all ever seen Dragon Ball Z?
No, I haven't seen it.
No.
All right, look, I make a long story short. They got this thing where they train in. It's called the gravity chamber. Now, I don't want to compare this to a cartoon, but I'm just saying the concept behind gravity. Now watch me, right? When they are in this chamber, they put it to like 20 times gravity. So they're in this chamber, and at first, like they're like fighting. They're like, oh, like because it's like at 20 times gravity. But then after a while, they keep training through it, and they get stronger because they train it through 20 times gravity. So the thing I'm trying to say is, if it's real, that's a force. That's a force that keeps us down. So you got to start thinking like, all right, well, you guys weigh like 200 pounds, right? Like,
yep.
I mean, I don't know about these boys.
Those about
Somebody weighs 110.
I weigh like 180. So you would agree that it takes a good amount of force to keep us to the ground, right? We're pretty heavy.
Right.
Now, ocean water, right? Whole body of water of ocean. How much y'all think that weighs? It weighs tons, right?
Oh, crazy.
How do we walk through Earth? Like, how does gravity work then? So, like, all right, so it's strong enough to put the ocean to the ground, but the force is light enough to where I could just like, Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, when we don't think about this when we're younger or taught it, we just go with it. But, like, think about that. If it's a force, it can keep ocean. I'm talking about a body of ocean. Ground. We shouldn't even be able to walk through it. Like, I should be going outside, like, oh, shit. Like,
But
you
Rich,
shouldn't even be able to walk through gravity. So, yeah, that's what I want to know. How does it
water
so?
don't jump though. Water don't jump.
What I'm saying is, all right, if it doesn't fall off, let's just say it's a basketball globe. If it doesn't fall off, right, that means gravity's what? The force is pushing it to the earth. All I'm saying is that same force that needs to move so much tons of water, how can we just walk freely through it? Like, how? It's impossible. Like, I don't even feel nothing right. Like what force, man? Like, when we fall, we feel like we falling. When we're on a roller coaster, we go down, we feel it. When you fall, like I fell before, like we feel it, like we falling, like we don't. So it's like, what is the force? Like, mind you, they came up with gravity when the guy, what, it was like an apple drop hit him. It's like, oh, the force dropped the apple. But if you really, really, really think about it, like, what force? What is it?
Well, it's basically like, okay, so let's say I throw an apple up in the air. The force that is making the apple go in the air is me. Gravity is what's making the apple come back down. If you want to talk about a roller coaster, if you go up, the force is the machine basically pulling it up. Gravity, when it hits the top, is what's bringing it back down. If there was no gravity, we would just float. Like, if you go in space right now, you would just float into the abyss. And you can't, and you would not be able to navigate through it. So basically what you're saying is like a counteractive argument to what gravity would be like if gravity didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the world would be like if gravity didn't exist, because we would just float up. Like, what keeps us here is gravity.
So,
that's literally scientifically proven.
Right. Well, not necessarily, because even your man, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they asked him what gravity is. He says he don't even know. But we'll go back to that. Neil, his boy, he know, Neil deGrasse. But look,
Science guru, big science guy.
Yeah, big science guy. But look, the thing I'm trying to say is you were right, because that's what we were conditioned to believe. So we think like, yo, what? There's no gravity. We'll be floating. Like, we wouldn't, what do you mean? So, but again, like you said, the force of you throwing the apple up, the force is pushing the apple down, right? You don't need that much to push an apple down. But what? So this force has different degrees. Like, all right, the force works for this apple, so it's lightly with the apple. Here goes Richard. He's 180 pounds. Let's keep him to the ground. The water. Make the gravity strong for the water too. Like, what I'm trying to say is, if it's a force strong enough to hold tons of water, we shouldn't be able to walk outside.
What do you mean hold up tons of water? Water is on the ground because of gravity. Without gravity, water would float, bro.
Right.
That literally should debunk your whole argument. Like, without gravity, water would literally go up in the sky.
What he's trying to say is the weight of water.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody would go up in the sky without gravity.
According to gravity, but we don't. We don't go nowhere.
But if the Earth was flat, there would be no gravity. Like that.
No. So what we mean by Earth is flat, we don't mean like this, like a piece of paper. Like, because obviously we see mountains, peaks, valleys, whatever. What we say is the reason why that water stays flat and level is because it's resting. Like, anything with water, it always finds its level. Anything you put water in a cup, level. Everything level. So we don't know the container the Earth is in, but all we know is in the globe model, you always ask, well, if it's a ball, right? Why doesn't the water drip off the bottom parts? Mind you, they say there's no up and down in space, but they'll tell you Earth has is chubbier at the bottom or bigger around the waist, but you know, whatever. That's what they say. But again, if we're just being taught this, and then we look at the model and we say, well, they should be upside down in Australia, or if they go to Antarctica, they should be upside down, but they'll say no, they stay on because of gravity, or they'll say no, it's no up or down in space, but they still stay on Earth because of gravity, and the gravity is the force. So the only point I'm trying to make is, yes, we know that because it's all we were taught. That's all we know is gravity. So we're thinking if there's no gravity, we're all going to be floating in the air. But my thing is, I don't think it's even there at all. because what keeps us down is our mass, our weight. Like when we jump in the air, the reason why we fall is because we're heavier than the air. Like we're not falling because a force pushed us down. Like we don't feel nothing. Like I
So
feel
you
like
don't
it
believe?
all exists in our imagination. Like and they
So
got us.
you don't believe any astronauts that you see in space that are floating due to no gravity?
First of all, how do we know they're in space?
I mean,
Because
come on.
look,
Look,
you
it
can
would be
Google
harder
it
to
and they
fake
say
it,
no
Rich.
man. Look, they said no man is ever crossed the Van Allen belts. Now they're saying the moon is within the Earth's atmosphere, so they can cover their tracks. When they said that no man is going past the Van Allen belt, so when they show us they're in space, like they're really in between where they can't go in the ground, so they're really like this is sky, but they're really like right there. Like even their ISS videos, like live videos from space. Look at them; they're all like 150,000, 200,000 feet top.
But think
So
about how much money it would cost to fake something like that
they
continuously
get
for this many
63
years.
million a day.
Okay,
But why
listen,
would you?
listen,
Why would you
listen,
fake
listen,
it?
listen, listen, listen.
Damn.
One of the biggest.
$3 million a day.
All right, so you got two of the biggest billionaires in the world fighting to be the first ones in Mars, right? Why would they waste their money? Because I'm sure they have more knowledge than us and expertise than us and people around them that will like literally be like, look, man, it's all bullshit. Like you're not getting to Mars. And they're literally racing. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk right now is literally racing to be the first ones to put civilization on Mars. Why would they even try that if they knew that everything was bullshit? Don't you think they're powerful enough to know that information?
I think they're powerful enough to know and to hide it and to keep us on board with the NASA program because, listen, I wish I could run a business for 60 plus years and never have results.
But they
We
do
had
have
nobody
results.
on. Look. We had nobody on Mars. Look. Think about it. We had nobody on Mars yet. It's 2024, and you have Americans that still don't believe in your moon landing. Like we're supposed to be all sold. Like they went. It's 2024. We're having a debate about what the shape of the Earth is because they don't give us tangible evidence to show us what it is. So it's like I feel like they are powerful enough because again, you got to keep the illusion. Like when you have a bunch of people on Earth, they can't tell us everything. Think about it. You guys don't tell people everything. We don't. We have stashes. We don't tell people everything. So you
Right, but I mean, there's
everything?
always going to be conspiracy theorists no matter what anybody says. Like, I could look at you right now and know I'm 100% telling the truth, and there could be an asshole out there like he's fucking lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't control how people think. So,
no, right.
I don't think that's a really good argument for a conspiracy theory. Just saying, like, no disrespect.
No. The thing about this is the discussion because at the end of the day, like, I don't have any. None of us know. The one thing that's a fact, none of us have, no one, not even the NASA people, they don't show us nothing real when it comes to the shape of the Earth. Nobody knows. So when you see flat earthers, if they claim they know the shape, or they're lying, or they're just.
So how do you? Okay, so if we've never been to space, man, how is satellites in space, and how is satellites able to detect people? Like the CIA can find any fucking body anywhere, dude, and they literally got to be in the. They got to have a frequency high enough to see everything, right?
So they got to be in space to do that.
Yeah.
But think about it, right? When you see airplane and it goes out of sight, it's out of sight. That doesn't mean the airplane's out in space. The point I'm trying to make is our eyes only see so far. Their satellites could be right, whatever, if they have satellites. I think that's bogus, too. I think they're like satellite balloons, or they put balloons up there or whatever.
They literally catch fugitives like that all the time.
That's real.
But they drive Google Earth in the car taking pictures. They got to do it on the ground level. Like people say satellites, they got telephone wires. They got wires under the ocean. Listen, those satellites that they call, they probably got like surveillance, which is realistic. And all they got to do is they don't have to be in outer space. They could be at a certain height where we just don't see it with the human eye. A satellite ain't but so big. We're not going to be able to see a satellite they shoot at 100,000 feet in the air. It's going to be like a little dot. So that could be realistic, but that doesn't mean that satellite is outside of Earth because, mind you, they said they have to composite the Earth in the image because they can't get out farther enough to capture a whole image. So that leads us to believe, like, are they really getting people past the Van Allen belts, which I think it's something else. Like it could be a dome, it could be a firmament. It's many theories with that, but it all makes sense. It's like they tell us, but they don't. It's like, yeah, we've been to space, we've been to the moon. Like I feel like the moon thing is just so they can have this accomplishment about space. That's all it is, because it's like I feel like that's what it is. And so they have an accomplishment and then lead our imagination to believe there's more out there. But it's 60 years later, they still haven't made no progress, and here we are.
I always thought flat Earth meant that the theorists thought the Earth was actually flat.
Right, me too. That's what I was thinking.
So what
too.
we mean,
That's what I
because
thought.
all right, you guys fly on an airplane. To be honest with you, like what does it look like? Even with the Neil deGrasse Tyson video, what does he say? That stuff is flat. Because that's what our eyeballs see. When we all look out now, I'm going to tell you why they say that, because, we're not high enough to see the curvature, blah, blah, blah. But all of us as regular human beings, when we fly at 30, 40,000 feet, when we look out that window, when we do look out, or when we, look at the land or whatever, it all looks like a level right in front of our eyes. So it makes me think, like, well, when did they... Like, who even invented curvature? Like, when did they even start it? Because, like, nobody with the regular naked human eye can see it. Like, look at this video. Watch this.
It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, wow,
Which is the fish
he's in
eye.
space. Look at that. No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat.
As a videographer, that's 1,000% true.
Okay, listen. Let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this, because this just popped in my head. Pause. So, if the Earth was flat, right? And China is to the right of North America, wouldn't you have? How could you fly to the right of North? How could you fly right from China and still get to North America? Wouldn't you have to fly left every fucking time?
Okay, good question. And I love that you brought this up, because
That's a good question.
That's a great question. My friend was in the military, and he used to fly from South Korea to the States, and he would fly out of California to South Korea. So, to answer your question first real quick, we don't know what the flight paths are. We don't even see nothing. When we're up there, it's all clouds. They go off the things in the airplane. Like, they got, stuff that, they got it. I don't know what it's called. But to make the long story short, all this time we thought if you fly to China or Asia, you fly over the Pacific Ocean, right? Like, I thought that.
Right.
My friend was in the military. He wasn't even on the flight. He was like, Rich, you crazy, bro. They proved this already, blah, blah, blah. But one thing he said to me, he said, bro, I did notice when we flew from Cali to South Korea, we fly over Alaska.
Right.
So that means the flight path isn't over the Pacific Ocean. It's over Alaska, straight there, which makes sense on a level. Boom, it's straight. So then they had an emergency evacuation. A lady got pregnant or whatever the case may be on the plane. They had to do emergency evacuation. This was years ago. You would think like they would stop in Hawaii or whatever. I think like they stopped in the same flight route. They stopped like Alaska. So it's like, why aren't they flying over the Pacific Ocean? That's what I thought the whole time. They fly over the globe, boom, around the globe. Like, they literally fly straight. That was another thing that got me when he said that. Like, the flight paths are straight.
From my understanding, the reason why they don't fly over that body of water is in case of an emergency. So if a plane breaks down, they need to be within range of an airport so they can land at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why they fly up and then come back down on the other side. But go ahead.
But the thing that was interesting is because at this time, I'm open-minded. I'm going to globe Earth. I'm like, damn, man, this whole time I thought they'd go over the Pacific Ocean. Then I see the flat earthers showing the Gleason map, which is the map they used to do travel back then. Or like when they had wars, they got to travel on these maps. And mind you, all the paths are straight. Like they got like instruments on the plane to make sure the plane is level the whole time. So like they're flying straight the whole time. They're never flying over the ocean. Boom. So how are people saying they see curvature at 30,000 feet or in the airplane? How are they telling us they're flying over a globe when they're flying straight the whole time? Straight there. Boom.
All right, so how do we explain this then, right? During
Yeah.
a lunar eclipse, the shadow of the Earth is curved. How do you explain that? You can see it during the lunar eclipse.
Right. You literally
Shadow
can.
is curved.
We just have one.
Yeah.
Now,
How do we explain that?
we have, okay, I'm going to explain it. My friend asked me this the other day. How old did we start school? 6, 5, 4? Since then, we've been taught about the shape. You got the sun, the moon. It's all circle. So all we know is how eclipses work in their model. The moon goes in the middle, and the boom, and it casts a shadow. Like, so we're going to process that. Like, that's how we're going to process it. But if we didn't know that, if we weren't taught that, we wouldn't know that could be a whole nother body of object casting that shadow. That could be the sun casting that shadow because of how they line up. They're both level, and they obviously go in their circuit above us. How do we know that's just not the sun and the moon going like this? Boom. And causing their own shadow. Boom, and then boom, going across each other. Like, how do we know that? We only know the model that they show us, and guess what? We don't have a video of the eclipse. We got drawings of how to. If you Google how does it eclipse, they show us a drawing. Like,
Right.
They got a video. They got pictures of a black hole. God knows how many light years away. That means if you can get a camera to go out that far, or however they do it, you should have the technology to just show us right now, to show us the eclipse, how it happens. Put a video out there, place it, boom. And we'll end all this discussion. But all they give us is drawings. How's the eclipse works? Drawing. It's all
right.
drawing.
All right, so I got one more for you that you're gonna have to explain to me. All right. So if the Earth is flat, why would we have daylight in one area at the same time and night in another area at the same time? It would be daylight across the globe or nighttime across the globe if it was flat.
Right.
That tells you the Earth is curved.
If the sun was really how big they say it is, if
Rich,
the sun was really that
nothing.
big, no. Listen, I was just like everybody else. Just listen. The sun, of course, we're gonna think the sun is the biggest thing in the solar system. That's what they teach us. So automatically, we're placing the biggest object in the solar system on the model. So then we're like, well, it's impossible. It's going to light up the whole Earth because we already conditioned to believe the sun is the biggest thing. So it's going to be way bigger than Earth. When in reality, the sun, just like for people that believe in God and the Bible, it says it's one of the lights in the sky. It's a light. So light can only shine but so far. If I had a flashlight right here, I go farther away, the light's going to dimmer. That's why I showed that first video. That's how it's dark, because once the light goes away, that's when it becomes darkness. Like, if that sun goes out, we're all dark. Like, what else is going to light us up?
So by your theory, you're saying the sun moves instead of the Earth spinning.
Yes, we don't move.
Come on, man.
So you saw us move.
It's
Earth move.
once every 24 hours, the Earth spins, and that's why it's day and night.
Right.
So what would make the sun go away from us? You're basically saying the sun rotates around us instead of us rotating instead of us spinning.
So
That's what you're saying.
I say this is Earth. We're boom, level, right? You got the sun above us and the moon. They have circuits above us. So clearly they just in a circuit. And the reason why we don't see them, we're only so big. Once they go away, they light up the other side. They're all in circuits and they come back. Like, it's literally right before our eyes. If nobody told you that we're moving, we would look in the sky and say, hey, I'm watching the sun move today. Because if you stand, you literally see it move. I'm watching the moon move today. We see it move. We see them positioned differently. We see in the summer solstice, we see the sun closer in. In the winter, we see it further out. We see the moon, the same thing. Like, if they didn't teach us that we were moving, we wouldn't tell our kids we're moving. we would say, yeah, the sun. We gotta wait for the sun to come back around again. We gotta wait for the sun to rise. And literally, right in front of our eyes, we watch the sun and the moon every day come right in our sight and go right out.
Okay,
So they taught us that it's because we're turning.
All right, so to double back on what I said on the flight path, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure a pilot is smart enough to know which direction he's flying, right?
Right.
Okay, so that would basically mean that all the pilots would know their flight path, and they've literally had to sign NDAs to not let everybody know that the Earth was freaking flat.
So that's
Basically.
interesting.
That's like a lot of moving parts. It's like the NFL. Like people's like, the NFL is rigged. Well, do you know how much shit you would have to control to make the NFL rigged?
Well, I mean, think about it. What does this whole world revolve around? Money, right? How much money do you think it? Listen.
I don't see why that. I don't see why.
Right now, I'll never talk about flat Earth.
But the thing is, I don't see why they wouldn't
that's
want
like
us to know that.
think.
Like, why would you want to even put money for it to be like, yo, all right, fuck it, the world's flat?
That's my biggest question. What is the main purpose behind it?
I thought I was going to end with that. I was going to end with that question, but just go back real quick to the airplane pilot. I said that's interesting because a lot of flat earthers, there's videos on the internet where people are pressing the pilots like, yo, what do you think? Like, I wanted to pull up, I just didn't want to come to the podcast with mad videos, but I should have pulled some of those. Because you got some people where they pull up the pilots, and the pilots are, they're just being honest. Like, they say it's level the whole time. And they have to be honest because, like, you can't, as a pilot, say you see curvature when Neil deGrasse Tyson just mentioned that even at 120,000 feet, there's no curvature. It looks flat. So anyone, even a pilot, if anyone says they see curvature from a plane, that means either one, they I don't know, they're delusional. I don't want to call people bad names, but because if they just said Felix Baumgartner, that's who he was talking about, the Red Bull jump. He was at 128,000 feet, and you could clearly see out the window it was flat, but they had the fisheye lens. Like he said, they had the fisheye lens and curvy horizontal line. So if it's like that at 128,000 feet, how's a pilot going to be able to tell us anything? Pilot sees just like what we see. They got to go up their instruments to travel. They see clouds. The only time we see the land is like when we're at a certain altitude, we start seeing the land and the buildings. But once we go way up there, it's like everywhere else. And I feel like the controllers, they know that. They know, like, once we get to a certain altitude, we're not going to be able to see nothing. Yo, what if the land masses are totally different? We don't know. We won't. None of us went up there and took a picture of the maps. So, like, what if the pilots know, or what if the pilots, like, what if it's just not something they bring up because they have to tell them, they train them to keep the plane level at all times. They have the instruments, and they're flying level the whole time. They're not, like, none of the pilots say, yeah, well, we have to dip due to curvature. Like, none of the pilot videos say that.
So pretty much, you don't think anybody went to space, period.
They tell us that. They said no man has gone past the Van Allen belt. Then they say, well, what about the moon landing? If you Google it, they tell us NASA or scientists found out the moon is now within the Earth's atmosphere. So if they did go to the moon, that's still within the Earth's atmosphere. They're still not space. They're still not past the Van Allen belts. And that's what they say their greatest achievement is. That's what they say, they're trying to break through the ceiling. That's their motto. Like, we're going to get it. We're going to get through. We're going to get man to Mars. But it's 2024. NASA has been in business for 60 years. They rake up $60 million something a day. That's enough to keep people quiet. Or some people probably just, have no clue because it's not like they sent them up there.
Right. And I understand.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me just ask you this real quick because I always base like what I base like how I'm not going to say judge people because I don't want to, like, that's a bad word to say. I base like how I perceive people by what they believe. So what other conspiracies do you believe?
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the granddaddy. Flat Earth is my thing. Like, this is the godfather. This is the mother of all conspiracies. It's so much the mother of all conspiracies that they made a conspiracy to make it look foolish. They got a Flat Earth Society. They have Obama say we don't have time to talk about a Flat Earth Society. So I feel like it's flat Earth than everything else, man. Like,
So where's the endpoints on each side?
again, when I was saying earlier, how do we know there's an edge? Everywhere we go, everywhere we fly, it looks the same. When they show us pictures of Antarctica, the sky looks the same. It looks like it never ends. When we're in the plane, it looks like like when we look out into the sky, it looks like it never ends. Like, what if Earth could be infinite for all we know? Because we know if they show us this globe model, that's why I feel like they just trap us in this model, because boom, we show us the globe model. It's only 7 continents. That's it. That's all you need to know. There's no more continents. Boom.
Rich, there's no way the Earth is infinite, bro.
It can't be infinite, brother. Come on, man. It can't. It can't. Come on. That's wild. I respect it, though. I respect the opinion.
It's wild, but think about it. It's got to be something. It's got to be a reason why they're hiding it. It's got to be a reason why they got a space program to keep people's minds to think out there. But mind you, they got the space shuttles in Florida. What if the space shuttles are in Florida because that's the closest land to get tours out there? Like, space isn't up. Space could be out there. Like, every time they shoot a rocket, it goes like this, and it goes out there.
So what happens? So what happens when Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos get people in Mars? Is that when the flat Earth theory stops?
That's when they'll get me on board. I'll go to Mars with them. You know what? I was wrong. We out.
Look, Rick, I understand them.
I'll definitely go, man.
Look, I understand them trying to generate money, right? But isn't there an easier way to generate money? Because think about how much money NASA has to put into these projects, right? So we're talking about generating money.
$60 million per day.
But think how much
if I gave you funding, if I gave your business $6 million per day, wouldn't you be able to take your business to the next level?
How are they generating $60 million a day? Like, how are those numbers?
So percentages of it is taxpayers' money. Percentages of it is like government funding. Like, I mean, let's be real here, guys. They print the money. They print money. Like, these are controllers.
If they're printing it, then why do they have to fool us?
And why do we have a national debt right now? If they're printing money and money doesn't matter.
It's all because it had like billions of people. So we have to be in this system where it's structured. Like, we're not in their business. Like how we got our credit issues, they got their credit issues. They got their money, whatever. But they keep us separate from all of that. So when they have this big, people say, well, they have to all be they're already all in on controlling us. I got these guys that be like, oh man, Rich, yeah, I believe they lie about this. I believe in conspiracy. You're right. The government lies to us. They all lie to us, but they'll never lie about space.
But Rich, like I asked you, what's another conspiracy theory you believe in, just so I can like kind of, you know what I'm saying, gauge like where your thought process is at.
Okay, so I mean, look at the big conspiracy. JFK for once came out, right? Think about how that's not even getting talked about like that, and they really just came out with it. Like they proved that conspiracy theory was true, and ain't no uproar or nothing about that.
So, Rich, in a closing statement, what do you have to say about flat Earth?
So I got my notes here for the closing. You know what I'm saying? I got my case file ready.
And then, Country, you're gonna take us out of here after that.
All right.
So I got here. So the main thing, like a lot of people say, well, why this, why that? The Freemasons have a model of Earth that they show, you know, but a lot of people don't know this, but you know, it's an enclosed Earth. Even y'all guys know Neil deGrasse Tyson. Bill Nye, the science guy, he even had a video. He was like, you know, we're in enclosed Earth, we can't go nowhere. Because, you know, what if the Earth is round, or what if like it's a round barrier and we're flat in the middle? Like, again, none of us know the shape. But the point I'm trying to make is, there's people that believe they do it to hide God. I believe they do it to hide resources. And you guys got to hear me out. Like, energy we should be paying for. Water we should be paying for. Air, oil. I feel like everything is abundant. So with Globe Earth model, they tell us everything is scarce. And then we need space travel so we can, you know, find other resources elsewhere. Versus the flat earth model, everything is abundant, energy is free, energy is in the air. I just learned that spiders fly in the air because there's electricity and they grip onto it and they fly. We should be paying for energy. Like in the flat earth models, energy would be free. So I feel like abundance, it brings a creator. The globe earth model, we believe in evolution. We believe that we all came from a big bang. Versus the flat earth model, we believe there's a creator. Now, everybody has their own religion. I respect people's religious belief. But that goal is, the religious aspect. Some people find God that changes their life. Now they're leading a better path for life. They say flat earth brought them to a creator or brought them to the Bible, whatever the case may be. Everybody has their own perspective. Then I feel like we're on a big free range plain zoo. They give us 7 continents. We don't know there could be a whole nother continent in the Pacific Ocean. We don't know. Like none of us, so they could be doing this to hide continents, like resources. They could have Richard Admiral Byrd, he did a mission in Antarctica. He said he found a continent the size of America that was untouched. Then he died shortly after. Now a lot of people say he was a Mason, he was a shill, whatever the case may be. But that's interesting for a guy to say he went to Antarctica and he's seen more land. So my thing is, when they try to push this alien thing on us, extraterrestrials, if you break it down, extra is more, terrestrial is land, terra. So extra land. Like what if the aliens are coming from continents right outside I feel like the end goal is resources. They're keeping us here trapped because there could be hundreds of continents that we can explore to, but they want to keep us here. So right here, y'all stay in these 7 continents. You don't explore. We'll explore the rest. Because if y'all know, 10 years ago, they said they found 16 new super Earths. How do we know those super Earths aren't other continents? It could be right there, right outside the Earth. I mean, whatever holds us. If there even is a ring, because there's models where they say Antarctica surrounds us in the ice wall, and then there's other lands outside of it. We don't know. So I feel like the main thing is resources, and then they'll just keep us controlled in here because our minds think we can't go to space. They got it figured out already. We don't even think about it. We go about our lives not even thinking about this. They got it. We can't go nowhere anyway. We can't go to Mars. So it's to keep us all here, keep us controlled, keep us bunched in like a big little zoo. We're wild. They got wars. They say they can't all be in on it, but they got a peace treaty in Antarctica where we can't go. They got a peace treaty with all these countries where they can agree on keeping us out of there, but they can't agree to fix the war. They can't all come together to fix that, but they got this piece of land and we all can't go there. So it's I feel like they're all in on us to keep us controlled, keep us out of it, and keep our minds thinking like we're just stuck here. And it's it's all about control and, keeping us from exploring elsewhere. I feel like the price went up. We was asking for 40 acres and a mule. We want a continent now.
Hey.
We want
Yo, that's actually a really good argument. I'm not gonna lie. I fuck with it. Yo, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at dapodcav. That's DAPODCAV. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube and click them notifications so you'll know when we're dropping new content. And also keep telling a friend to tell a friend so we can all win. Let's fucking make this shit happen, man. And you can listen to us anywhere your favorite podcast or stream. Back to you, B.
Hey, Rich, we appreciate you for coming on. We definitely got to do a part 2 for sure.
Oh, we got to do a part 2. I feel like anything conspiracy, well, again, it's not too many conspiracies I follow, man, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like everything is a distraction outside of because, why wouldn't we want to know where we live? Why wouldn't we know how to got here, why we're here? And I feel like that's what this brings to. So I feel like this is the grandfather. I don't really look into nothing else. Why? Let us know about this.
Hey, part two will tap a little bit more on that the moon landing.
Moon landing.
About
part 2.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I love you to invite me again, man.
Hey, let people know
100%.
where they can find you.
Yeah, y'all guys can look me up. I'm on Facebook, Lukasic Richard. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. Stay tuned for more.
Hey, and we out of here.